Girls! In half an hour, we're going to be doing Pokemon League. Not Pokemon League, Yu-Gi-Oh! Kitchen Table League. And, some of the participants are sick, some of them are busy, so I decided to start stream early and see if at least 2 people show up. Because I don't want to do just a one-on-one event and move on to the next week. I want to do at least 3 people, because that's half the league. Well, half the active league, anyway. But, yeah. Until then, we're just going to be playing some Pokemon. Okay, Delibird has normal attacks, so Pupitar. Vampy is ground. So we'll just use... Oh, well, I'm weak to ground. Except Vampy only has normal attacks, I think. I rearranged my Pokemon because I realized that I shouldn't waste any experience on Poliwrath or Meganium, because I'm planning on dumping them. Like, I'll still have them there to use them, but they'll be the lowest priority. So psychic and water. Well, Lugia resists psychic, so we'll just use fly. Wait, what? Oh, I wasn't paying attention and let Bellsprout faint. Whoops. Right, there's items in the port. Huh? Oh, I missed it. I need full heals. Wait, what level is my Larvitar at? One more level and then I rare candy and we're done with Pupitar. Okay, Let's go buy some full heals from here. Oh, actually, I need to go catch a Zubat. Or a Golbat. Which is the lowest level Golbat I can get? Mount Mortar, I can get a level 13 Golbat. I want to get it as low as possible so that it's easy as possible to raise its friendship by leveling up. Yeah, Mount Mortar. Let's save because I'm not entirely sure that I can get back. I mean, I can surf. Wait, the return trip is different? Okay, you get more trainers, but you don't get any items. Pupitar is probably going to level up and then I'll rare candy and evolve it. No! Okay, it's time anyway. Nobody showed up. I'm gonna ping the Yu-Gi-Oh! League. Okay, Caboose said he'll be here in 20 minutes. So I gotta turn on the fan. It's too hot in here. Well, let me check the temperature outside. It's 72. BRB. Okay, back. For those that tuned in during the break, Caboose will be here in 20 minutes after the hour about. A little over 10 minutes, honestly. Yeah, 11 minutes, actually. Yeah, and then once Caboose shows up, I'm gonna ping everyone and see if people show up. Okay, what Pokemon do I need to grab? A Spinarak. I don't have Spinarak. So Snubble. Actually, let's clean up this box while we're here. Wait, actually... Sudowoodo doesn't belong in this box. So, and Hoot Hoot I don't need to do either. So we're gonna rename this to Junk. Did I deposit Sudowoodo already? I did. Now Lugia's gonna be soloing everything mostly. Oh, BRB. Hi.
Mic check.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
So, Ash here isn't for League, but no one showed up for League yet, so, we're just gonna talk to Ash for a bit.
To ask a taboo question, and if you feel it's necessary, you can just tell me to fuck off with this one. But, like, do we know, is anybody in chat right now?
Nobody's in chat. Well, nobody's active in chat. There are viewers, but nobody's typing.
I was gonna say, I'm asking a question, and I just want to know whether I'm addressing it to you or you and chat.
Right now it's just me.
Okay. No, I had a question. First, you enjoy horror, right? To some extent?
Yeah. Not movies
Okay.
so much, but like video games and stuff.
Right. You play Phasmophobia.
I
Or
used
at
to,
least you
yeah.
used to.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I want...
You've cut out.
story.
And you're back.
What?
I missed the whole thing.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you cut out for a bit.
So, I want to know your thoughts on a horror story where the thing that is the horrifying thing, instead of being the villain, is the protagonist. Not so much in the, like, this is a good person kind of way, but in the narrator follows the horrifying thing instead of following some group of unsuspecting people.
Right. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay, so it sounds like it could potentially work.
Yeah, I have seen a few things like that before.
Oh, okay, so it's not an original idea entirely then.
No. I mean, it
Okay.
is to you.
Well, the fact that it's been pulled off before tells me that at least it's been pulled off before.
Right.
No, so I don't know if it's going to really work as a horror story. That was my big concern, was will this still constitute horror, or is it just morbid drama?
I feel like it would be more along those lines, because like the unknown is what drives horror the best, and the story being from the perspective of the horrible creature or whatever is kind of taking away the unknown, I guess.
Yeah. So, okay.
Stories where you jump from one perspective to the other is the only place I've really seen it done successfully. One perspective to the other. It's done really well in Whispers, and the reason is Whispers by Dean Koontz. There's bits of Whispers that are from the antagonist's perspective, and those bits are done well because they still use the unknown. Because there's some language trickery going on where what's actually happening is kind of hidden, even though the narrator is still reliable. It's just written in such a way that you don't actually understand what's happening.
Right. Yeah, so, okay. The thought process that I had for this story is that it takes place in a canonical world that I've already developed, in which essentially the protagonist, the horror, is someone who passed away, and in this canonical world, the way that death works is that the body has to be decomposed to, in order for the soul to pass on to the next life, and the body is being prohibited from decomposing.
I see.
So the protagonist, in whatever form they take, is only trying to figure out why they are not decomposing, and resolve that so that way they can pass on to the next life. But in the process, they are just absolutely wrecking the shit out of people's day. Like, just, they're haunting the fuck out of the area they inhabit, and just flipping the world on its head, trying to find their body and like the part of it that won't decompose and fix it. Which this is still very early on in the like brainstorming phase, but like I was sitting here thinking that essentially like someone with bad intentions has taken a piece of their body and is preserving it. So they're trying to hunt down the person that has essentially barred them from the afterlife. So, on the one hand, they are the horror. They are also the protagonist. And also, since they are undead, I feel like I can still make the environment as much of a horror as the character. Because the canonical world in which this takes place. Have I lost you?
No.
Okay.
I'm just multitasking, but I'm listening.
Something was coming through really staticky. I hope it was only on my end. I hope your stream didn't.
It might be my microphone. It's been acting up lately. Is it still happening?
Yeah, it's off and on. If anybody's active in chat, is it staticky for you guys too, or just for me?
I can tell it is because I saw it peak a couple times when I wasn't talking. It looks like it's better now. Also, that background
right now
noise
it's
is a
fine.
fan. Because it's freaking hot.
So, shit, where was I? Oh, so in this canonical world, the dead are brought to a place called Gara. This is one of the gateways to the realm of the dead. And in Gara, their body has to decompose to release the soul.
Okay.
But decomposition, like, it has a lot of like bugs and like bacteria and fungus that all have to like help with the decomposition, and decomposition isn't an instantaneous thing. So I have it in my head that like these bodies are brought to Gara is a swampland. That's an important detail I accidentally left out. So they're brought to the edge of the water, and the water just kind of sucks them into this central area. When the soul reaches the central area, there is an aromatic flower that inhabits the center of Gara. That, living or dead, if you or your spirit smells this flower, it's supposed to essentially transit your consciousness to a different realm. It transports your consciousness to a different realm. So, if you're dead, this is a good thing. Because now you can be reincarnated from that realm where the goddess of death inhabits. If you're alive and you happen to make it to where these and you're still somehow alive, then you're essentially trapping yourself in this realm of just non-being, because your consciousness is no longer with your body, but your body isn't decomposed either. So
is that what happens to the protagonist?
So the protagonist has not reached the central area by the time that the story begins. I was actually going to like put it in there that the like most of the body is decomposed, but like some person with ill intentions is preserving like a finger or something somewhere not in Gara so that it can't decompose. But yeah, I was gonna fill Gara with all kinds of like horrific things so that it wasn't just limited to the main character being the reason why it's intense and scary. But still leaning towards it's not going to be horror, or do you think it could pull it off?
So there's kind of two types of horror. One is just like the concept is horrific and it's not necessarily scary, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I guess it could be that kind of horror. I just don't see it being very scary. Like, Frankenstein, for the most part, isn't, like, scary. It's just a horrific concept.
Okay. You don't see it having a lot of intensity.
Yes.
Okay. So, no, I was gonna say, would you consider that to be the, would you consider that to be the defining difference between horror and thriller? But I don't think that that is accurate at all.
Hi, Slime. Nobody else can play, it looks like, so I don't think we're doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Today. But yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. There's like horror thriller, and it's just not the horror thriller.
Sorry about that buzz. I kind of forgot that that's probably picking up on the stream.
All good. It wasn't very loud.
Yeah, I got distracted there for a second because I just crossed from Maryland into West Virginia, and there was supposed to be a way station, but I couldn't figure out where it was.
I'm doing okay considering I'm sick, Slime.
Slime. So other than that one time, has there been any other cutting out or any poor audio quality coming from my camp?
I mean, occasionally, like it just now had poor audio quality. But it's been, you've been intelligible. If that's
Okay.
the right word. Yeah, I think intelligible is the right word there.
So, if not Yu-Gi-Oh, what do you have planned for stream?
I'm playing Pokemon.
Ah,
I'm completing the Pokedex for Gen 2.
remind me which starters are Gen 2?
Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and
Cyndaquil.
Totodile.
Okay. Totodile has always reminded me of, there was an old PlayStation 1 game called, Croc.
Yeah.
Totodile makes me think of Croc.
Hi, Red. So, Red said, Ash, it's been a while.
I'm trying to remember their full tag.
Raptolos, went by Yuri for a bit.
I am vaguely recollecting this.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the starter choices. Chikorita basically has no good matchups for any of the gyms or Elite Four, so Chikorita is just bad for this game. But I think Cyndaquil's okay. Like Cyndaquil is good against Bugsy. That might be it though.
So Totodile it is.
Yeah. Cyndaquil, they just copied the stats from Charizard. And didn't make it a cool dragon with that has flying. I mean, that is a flying type. It's just a shittier Charizard.
Yeah, but Charizard doesn't have erotica after it.
Doesn't have what?
Erotica made after it.
I mean, I'm sure Charizard has unofficial erotica.
Right. So does, oh god, what is Cyndaquil's final form?
Quilava.
That's right. I always thought it was Quilava, but...
It's because it's Quill. Because it's got quills on its back. Or is it Typhlosion? Wait. Which one's the final form? I think Typhlosion might be the final form. Yeah. Quilava's the second form.
Typhlosion had this huge scandal. Somebody made some, like, really raunchy erotica about Typhlosion, like, 6 months ago or something. It was, like, really bad. The internet went up in arms about it. I can't even remember what form it took. I don't remember if it was, like a comic or like... I don't remember. Well, I am all out of stuff to say.
Okay.
Did anybody other than I know Red said hi, and hello Red. Sorry I delayed my response. Did anybody else happen to speak to me that I need to know about?
Stuff about Typhlosion. But nobody really said anything about your horror idea.
Okay. What were they saying about Typhlosion? Did they expand on what the erotica was? Because I don't remember anything about it, just that it exists.
Okay, Slime said leaks were made of Typhlosion about the myth that it was based on. Red said Typhlosion is the child stealer. Slime said, yeah, that's just yokai lore, who cares? Red said, I think it was a big text file. Slime said, anyone who complains about Typhlosion's leak doesn't understand how dark myths in the real world are.
Well, at least I guess it's not Vaporeon bad.
Right. Slime said also, plus leaks aren't canon.
Leaks are canon? What?
Leaks aren't canon.
Aren't. Got a leaky Vaporeon here.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah, I went there. I went there. I just discovered that my my fridge in my truck is open.
Nice.
And I'd like to know how long it's been open. I've had an issue with it opening itself while I'm driving since I got this truck. And so I put a child lock on it to try to stop it. And I really hope that my child lock didn't break and that I just forgot to close it. Because I don't have a second child lock for that. How far into Gen 2 are you?
So I've beaten gold and silver. I've beaten the Elite Four in Crystal, and I finished gold and silver. I beat the Elite Four in both, but I didn't beat red or anything. I'm playing Crystal, working on leveling up stuff to evolve the last few things that I have to evolve, and unlocking the areas to catch the last bits of Pokemon. But basically, I'm getting kind of close to the point where I'm just going to all of a sudden have to catch about 100 Pokemon.
Got it.
And then that's all I'll do is just go catching all those Pokemon.
I've actually never understood how gens have multiple games. Like, how does that work?
So, basically, they like to release multiple games on the same software, kind of. Where they just reskin some stuff and change some Pokemon. So some Pokemon aren't available and other Pokemon are. And first of all, the base games, there'll be 2 games that release at once. And between those 2 games are all the new Pokemon for that generation. But there'll be 4 different Pokemon lines that you have to trade with someone that owns the other game in order to collect all of them. The idea of that is to just, make it so that people want to trade with each other. And then they release in the same generation, on the same hardware, with the same sprites and everything, they'll make a remastered version of 2 gens ago. So in Gen 3 they remade the Generation 1 games, but with Gen 3 graphics and hardware. And
okay.
They was updated too, so the Pokemon had abilities, which abilities didn't exist in Gen 1, and stuff like that. The modern versions of Pokeballs and everything. So the same software,
okay.
They just but instead of it being the new game, they just made the map the old game, kind of. And then after that, they'll make a third release of the original two games in that generation that'll have like special edition stuff. Like, it'll be easier to catch a really difficult to catch Pokemon. There'll be extra trainers. There'll be some extra features. Like, maybe they'll add like a battle tower so that you can fight against level 100 enemies or whatever. They'll just like add more features, and it's like a special edition. And it will be missing Pokemon from both of the other two games, so that you have to trade with people that own both games in order to collect all the Pokemon.
Okay. So what came first? The trading card game or the video games?
The video games were first.
Interesting. I would have expected the other way around, largely because to input trading into the video game seems like they just took that idea from trading cards.
Trading was kind of a last-minute decision that was tacked on, I believe, if I'm remembering this right. Nintendo was like, okay, you need to make the game multiplayer. So all of a sudden they had to come up with a battle system for like 2 players. And then while they were at it, and like setting up the game so that it can connect to another player's game, they're like, well, we might as well make it so that you can trade Pokemon. And then they came up with the idea of having 2 different versions. So it was kind of like an afterthought.
Got it.
The problem is
So
the documentation.
The
The documentation on effectively what's Gen 0, the games that never got translated to English. The documentation on that's not so good because the games never got translated to English. But what?
So what software did that come out on?
What, Gen
Or
0?
what hardware?
That was Game Boy.
Gen 2.
Oh, Gen 2 is Game Boy Color.
Okay.
Which, yes, is a massive
So
upgrade.
Gen 1 just didn't have color.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Right.
like most Game Boy games, you could put it in a Game Boy Color and it would color it, but it wasn't designed to be colored, so the colors are a little wonky.
Got it.
But yeah, the difference between Game Boy and Game Boy Color is they look the same, just Game Boy Color is colored, but there's a huge difference to the point that Gen 1 has a lot of little issues here and there that are caused by the fact that they didn't have any space. And Gen 2, they finished the game and realized that you could fit Gen 1 in just the free space left over in the Gen 2 game. So they also added the Gen 1 map and all the characters and stuff from Gen 1. So you finish Gen 2, you beat the Elite Four, and then you go to the Gen 1 continent.
Kind of neat.
Yeah.
Growing up, I never had a Game Boy. Like, I grew up in the right generation to be exposed to, like, Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. I was exposed to them, but I never had one.
I had an original Game Boy, like the big ass brick, in Pokemon Blue. Don't Game Boy Color games have a lot more space anyway? One guy just figured out how to make the code better. I don't think it's that much more. Gotcha. Okay. Game Boy Color definitely feels a lot better than original Game Boy, but maybe that's less hardware improvements and more software improvements because games become more efficient over time. Okay. Slime's saying it's not like 2 or 3 times more, it's just a little more. Bigger, I mean.
Gotcha.
Gen 1 was a mess. Like, it was the first, like, monster raising game, Pokemon was. So, they kind of had to just make it up as they went, and it is cobbled together. Yeah, duct tape and hope, exactly.
So they were the pioneers of the you called it monster raising video game genre.
Yeah.
So they went through all the first couple iterations of Magic.
You cut out there, what? So they went through what?
So they went through all the same shit that Wizards went through with the first couple iterations of Magic, trying to figure out what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they had a basis already, because they kind of based it on, like, Final Fantasy, where just, instead of having the 4 characters that is your party, it's just like, what if there's just 150 characters and you can swap them around? And also, instead of having swords, you have moves that you can teach to Pokemon. And everything has an element. That's kind of what Pokemon is.
Sure. It is kind of just the world's most complicated game of rock, paper, scissors.
Yes. It is a very in-depth game of rock, paper, scissors. Everything has counterplay, unless it's Gen 1. Psychic just wins in Gen 1. Psychic in Gen 1 had 2 weaknesses, Bug and Ghost. But they accidentally coded Ghost wrong to where it did 0 damage to Psychic. And Bug's strongest move has like 20 base power when the strongest moves in the game have 120 base power, so it does basically 0 damage. So Psychic has 0 weaknesses in Gen 1.
Oops.
Oops.
It took me a while. I am only into Pokemon since like a year ago. And like I really only play Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
But it took me forever to try to wrangle with the concept of which elements are weak to which. In particular, there's like this there's a little niche of dark, ghost, poison, psychic, fairy.
Yeah.
I took forever to wrap my brain around those 5.
Out of those, I think fighting interacts with dark, and otherwise they're on their own, right?
I didn't mention fighting.
No, but out of those types, they only interact with each other and Ghost, except for Dark is weak to fighting. So
Dark is weak to fighting. Psychic is actually strong against fighting.
True.
Fairy is strong against dragon.
I don't know Fairy, it's too new for me.
It's weak against steel. Psychic is weak to bug. Trying to remember if there are any other interactions that occur outside that circle with them. Might be it. Outside of that, they like cross the line between that circle. There is the fact that Ghost is supposed to be weak against normal types.
Ghost and normal
Like,
just don't
I don't
interact.
know if that actually. I thought that normal was supposed to be like. Ghost was supposed to be not very effective against normal.
Both of them don't do damage to each other. Unless they change that in current gen, but I seriously doubt that they did.
In Pokemon Go, they do interact. Your mic's doing that thing again.
That might just be my fork. Nope, you're right.
In Pokemon Go, they do interact. But I feel like it's kind of buggy. Because, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they interact the way they're supposed to. Did I just totally lose you? I think I just totally lost Indigo. Is she back? Nope, just microphone issues. Indigo, anything you've said for the last like 2 minutes has not been coming through to the Discord.
Hello? Can you hear?
There she is.
Okay, this sucks. So my headphones parts are replaceable. So I've been interchanging parts trying to get the microphone to work. And I got it to work.
Sorry.
I got it to work, by plugging in an extremely old, greasy pair of headphones. And it's kind of nasty on my ears. So, give me time. I'm going to try to find a headset that isn't greasy.
Alright, well, I just arrived at where I am shutting down for the day. So I'm gonna drop out of Discord. I may or may not join your stream. That is to be seen. But if I do, it won't be for several minutes.
Test. Okay. I am tossing these greasy ones. I don't know what the hell happened to them. There's no way my ears did all that. I don't know what the hell happened to these. They're getting tossed, though. Juice must have spilled on the box at some point or something. Who knows? So I've got this pair that's a little bit broken physically, but it seems like everything works. God, I love this headset. If you don't get it on clearance, it's like $50, $60, but you could usually get it on clearance. And it comes with a USB cord, a auxiliary cord, a separate headset that isn't like attached to those cords, and a separate microphone. So when a part goes bad, so like every time the headset stops working altogether, I'll buy a new headset. And then when a part goes bad, I just grab it from one of the old ones. And then I don't need a new headset until one of the parts on everything has failed, which always ends up being the cord that attaches it to the computer. So, like, if a headset goes bad or a microphone goes bad, I can swap it out, which is nice. Okay, so I'm supposed to go to Mount Mortar. Where? Level 13 Golbat on... Oh, first floor. Okay. Hey, let's go. Come on. Male. Be male. Please. Okay, bye, Slime. Thanks for hanging out. It's female. Why are they all female? Please. It's ruler time. That did a 12th. That did 3, so 3 pixels, so 4 pixels being the strongest. This is gonna take a minute, so we're gonna go ahead and growth. Nice. So yeah, the friend ball sets it. Golbat evolves into Crobat at 255 friendship, and the friend ball sets it at 200. So you're pretty close to being there. Can Golbat learn anything? The fuck? It can learn Thief. Okay. No, because it already knows Bite. Well, wait, no, it doesn't matter. Because I'm trying to give it points. So I'll use Thief on it. We'll drop Screech. I need to deposit this metal coat. Oh, I forgot to check my frickin' stats. Okay, I need the calculator and the instructions. Okay. Name, Chris. Current cash, 73660. ID 10942. $11.72. Wait. I could set it to the actual time. Because I no longer have to be at night for Umbreon. I do have to say that it's Friday, though. Okay. I am going to take a short break and get myself a drink. I will be back. Sorry, I just noticed that I can fix this headset as long as I can grab another headset that isn't broken the same way. BRB. Test. Looks good. There's a broken part on this headset, and I realized that it's a screw-on part. So I just stole it from another one of my headsets. God, I love interchangeable parts. Oh, I also need a trash bag, BRB. Literally every time I step out on this. Yeah, inside a trash bag. I'm not trying to dig the actual stuff. Right. Yeah, just conserving parts. Yeah. I mean, each one only comes with 4 pieces. Like that. Okay, I'm back for a referral. I forgot to grab the trash bag. I'm so good at this. Okay, so you get 5 points per level up, so I need to level up 11 times. So Golbat should be real easy to evolve. Oh, you sleep. That's how you move the time forward. Okay, seriously? I need a break. I'm gonna end stream. I'll probably be back later.